So thanks all for tuning in, and for those that are watching the recording afterwards. Our first guest has written a SDK that will improve the performance of your Node.js in the backend by a lot of percentages. I think around 400%. And we're gonna dive straight into it. Since it's our first time ever live streaming, it might be a bit clunky, so bear with us. And without further ado, please give a warm welcome to Wilfred from Triton One as well. Hello, Wilfred.
Hello.
How you
Hello,
doing?
Steve. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for joining us. We
Thanks for the
work
invite.
we work together a lot. You're my favorite travel partner, except for when we go to Dubai. But that's an inside joke. Yeah, tell us a bit about yourself.
So, I have been on Solana for almost 2.5 years now, and I've been at Triton for almost 2 years now. And my journey has been dealing with a lot of SDKs and trying to improve them, along with other backend stuff. So that's my 2 lines.
All right, and within Triton One, you have a nickname. It's Kilfred. Can you tell us a little bit about how you acquired that nickname?
Oh, yeah, so on my seventh day at Triton, I was doing some get program account calls. I was testing the performance of those, and those were really fast. So I wanted to see how fast can it go, how much can I test it. So one call is too much for the server to handle, and I did 300 of those asynchronously. I just fired all of them, and so that started overloading the nodes that were responding to the calls. So one by one, it overloaded 13 nodes, and a lot of internal alerts went by, and the on-call team was hands-on and trying to figure out where it was happening, like what was happening. And usually these many calls are not allowed coming from a customer, but since I was doing it internally, I did not have any rate limits in place, so I was able to do that. So on one side in Slack, there is everyone is just trying to figure out what is going on, and there's like a big fire in the background, and I am like walking in the park testing my script and then putting the outputs, and someone then noticed that I was doing something as well, and then they checked back with me, and then it was like, yeah, and the message that I got was like, yeah, please stop this, and then there was the slight smiley face, and I could see that the person who sent the message wanted to like slap me through the screen for, for disturbing their peace. But yeah, and that's how I got the nickname.
All right. So yeah, I guess that's how you f around and f out. Find out. We all learned something that day. I see someone in the chat who is also one of our coworkers saying that wasn't a fun day. But yeah, didn't affect me, didn't affect you, so we had fun. So tell us a little bit about this new SDK that you made and what prompted you to build this SDK.
Oh yeah, the SDK was definitely a team effort with Christian from our team doing a lot of heavy lifting on that along with me. And the core idea of that SDK is to get the users the data as fast as possible. We want to IPRL on every aspect of Solana. So when we first developed the Yellowstone gRPC plugin around 3-4 years back, we made the TypeScript SDK, and it has worked really well over the years. But since Solana is IBRL, double down on IBRL now, the SDK hit a limitation, and the SDK uses another library internally called the gRPC JS library. It's written purely in JavaScript, and it is used for communication with gRPC protocols with the gRPC server. So that SDK hit a ceiling with how much it could handle. And since Solana produces a lot of data, it hit a ceiling on how much it could handle. And then it began to be a bottleneck for the users. So that's when we sort of started digging into what was causing the issues, because what we noticed in our testing was that the data flow would completely stop. The client would tell the server to not send any data. So this stream of data that you're trying to get as fast as possible, was just paused, halted. No data was being received at all. And then trying to understand why that was happening. So this gRPC JS library, uh, since it's purely JavaScript, and JavaScript runtime Node.js is single-threaded runtime. So to understand this, just think of it as Node.js has a single worker to do all of the work. Now, all of the work is connecting with gRPC, subscribing to the data, getting the data, receiving the data, processing the data, and then whatever application logic that you have written for the data, if you want to do some trades or something, then doing that. All of these operations are done by a single worker, and it can do only one thing at one time. So if
So
it's busy with,
let's
yeah.
pause there for a second. So there's a problem with the TypeScript SDK, as it only has the ability to use one thread to process all functions of um, you know streaming or ingesting the gRPC stream, acting upon those updates it's getting, and doing all the other tasks as well. So it needs to look away from the stream, say, hold on for a second, I need to act and do this a little bit like this, and meanwhile the work is piling up. Is that the way to describe it in layman's terms?
Yes, absolutely correct.
All right. Sorry for the interruption. I just want to, kind of visualize what the issue with the the pre-solution is. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
all right, continue.
Mhm. So this was not IBRL, that the stream is being paused completely and the single worker is overloaded. So then we started looking into what we can do. So Node.js has an interface, it has an API that allows you to plug in something that you have written in some other language, some other programming language. You can plug that right into Node.js, and that can work. And since we all know that Rust is quite performant, so we started looking into how we can utilize some Rust to do this. And inside the SDK, previously we were using a Rust module for parsing the transactions. So we knew that Rust could be integrated into this, and Rust could help us solve the problem. So that's how we started looking into it, and then we started exploring the options. And the biggest and the boldest and the thing that we wanted to achieve was performance without breaking user code. So we wanted for the end user the change to just be a version bump in their code, and then they should be able to use it. So absolutely 100% compatibility should be maintained. So that was the iron principle, and uh, we did a lot of work around that, and that's where we got here. And today it can stream the whole chain, and you can just unlock the massive 400% of performance boost by just one line of change in your code.
So, if I understand this correctly, you built an SDK where anyone who is watching this or who reads our blog post can increase the performance of their backend by 400% with a single code change, single line of code change.
Yes. Yes.
That's crazy. So that means that anyone who's built their protocol on a less performant language now has the ability to change their code with one line, and then it will under the hood use a much more performant way of processing all the data and making sure all the tasks are running properly in multiple threads. Is that somewhat correct, or
That is absolutely correct. 100%.
sounds too good to be true? So maybe you can show us instead of telling us and walk us through it real slowly. Is this something that people who are watching this live can do without them pausing the stream, or what do they need?
I mean, if they have their code handy in which they are using the TypeScript SDK for Yellowstone gRPC, then they can just change the version number of the SDK that they are using and run their code, and they should be able to do it. We have examples as well in our repository, which I'm going to be using now. So
All right, can you
yeah,
share your screen and show us?
let's do a little demo. Can you see my screen?
I can see your screen. It's a big ass cat. All right, let me blow this up a little bit. All right,
Yes.
I
So
think
this
we should be good.
this is a little script that I wrote, and what this script does is it subscribes to everything that is happening on the chain. So all of the account updates, all of the slot updates, all transactions, and all of the data that the gRPC interface can offer you. This subscribes to all of that data. It dumps all of that data into a text file. And at the end of the test cycle, we just measure the output, measure the size of the file so that we know the amount of data that we received. So we are essentially measuring the throughput because for your application, the throughput would be connecting to the gRPC, subscribing to data, getting the data, processing the data, and then doing something with that data. So that entire pipeline is the throughput for the end user. So that's what we are going to do as well. So right now, if you see, this is using the old version of the SDK, which uses the gRPC JS internally, which uh, which is not that performant. So I'll just run the test for, let's say, let's just do a small run for 10 seconds. And
All right,
so,
I'll let you do the typing. So what we're gonna look at right now, if I understood this correctly, is we're gonna have a test with the old SDK, which is non-performant. We're gonna run a test for 10 seconds to see how much data we can process. And then afterwards, we're gonna compare that to the new SDK, which should be a lot more performant. So yeah, whenever
mhm.
you're ready, take it away.
Yeah, so I'm just running the script and I'm specifying the duration as 10 seconds and I'll run it. So it's running now, and as soon as the 10 seconds are up, we should see the results and the throughput. So yeah, the test is complete. So in the 10 seconds time frame, it downloaded 330 megabytes of data. So that is 33 megabytes per second. So that is a throughput. So this throughput is again the entire pipeline of connecting, subscribing, getting the data, parsing the data, and then processing it. So since we
So I
just
can imagine
we,
that the
yeah.
reason there's so little data is because there's a lot of pushback from your machine pushing back into the stream because it's getting overloaded. Is that correct?
Yes, because we are subscribing to the entire chain essentially. So that is a lot of data that is coming in. And see, there is a single worker, so that worker connects to the gRPC server, it sends the request, and then it starts getting the data. So let's say it has received an account update. It has to take that account update, which is in the raw format, and then convert it into a data format that we care about. So it does that parsing. So it has, while it is receiving the data, when the data is received, it's sitting somewhere inside the operating system. It has to bring the data into the code. So when it is moving that data, it is just moving the data. It cannot do anything else.
Right.
Same with the parsing. When it's parsing the raw data, it can just parse and it cannot do anything else. So the receiving is not happening. When these operations are happening, the stream is halted. It has an internal buffer, like a bucket that it uses to store the incoming data. But again, Solana sends so much of data that it even that bucket fills up, and then in the end, it just tells the server to just stop sending it data while it takes care of the data that we have received.
Amazing.
So
So can you
this,
show us the improved SDK?
yes. So using it is really simple. Like I said, just change this one line here, and it should be good to go. So I'll just remove the old SDK from our code and then download the new SDK so that we are ready for a lot of performance.
So this is the only
And
thing you need to change. In the dependencies section, the Yellowstone gRPC SDK, just change it from 4 point something to 5.0.1.
yes, and once you have done that, inside your code, you just need to do one extra step, which is to call this connect function. So since we are using now Rust to do the connection and the subscription management, we need to explicitly connect it. And this is more control for the users on when they want to connect to the gRPC server. So uh, this is putting more control in the user's hand. And this is a semantic. If you see here, this has underscore as a separator, and here this is in a camel case. So this was in a non-standard way, and it has been bothering my OCD. So I just went ahead and fixed it into a standard script, and then I'm just going to run the same script now.
All right, so the last one was 33 megabytes per second. And now we're going to run another 10-second test to see what the throughput is using this new SDK. So it's running right now. It's going to run for 10 seconds. So we have a little elevator music. And it should be done.
Yeah.
Holy hell.
Yeah.
Sorry, excuse my French. All right. Tell us, what are the results?
So in the same 10-second time frame, it downloaded 1296 megabytes of data. That is the throughput per second is at 129 megabytes. And with the old SDK, we can see that it did 330. And now here we are seeing that it has done almost 1300 megabytes. So that is the performance improvement that is just unlocked right out of the box. So yeah.
That's crazy. And this is available right now for everyone who uses TypeScript and who wants to improve their program's performance by 4x.
Yes, it is available. We have a blog post published which explains the problem and how we reached the solution and has a detailed guide on how the users can start using it. So, can you share the link with everyone?
Yes, so the links are already shared under um, under the tweet I posted. My handle is at Steve Kleinbrook. And I will see if I can put it in the chat here as well. I'm gonna make sure we're gonna tweet everything out from the Triton One account. So yeah, if you follow that one, also follow our blog post, and it's also gonna be in the description of the YouTube video that's being live streamed right now. So yeah, there's a million ways to find it, but this is amazing. Um, awesome. Thanks so much for the demo. So to summarize, you can instantly improve your performance by 4x um, with one one line of code change.
Yes. And That's the sort of the value unlock that we aimed for the users to achieve, and it took us more time and effort to get there because we wanted as less changes to the user code as possible, so that there is less glass chewing and more IBRL.
All right. And are there, without naming the teams, are there any teams that already integrated this and have reaped the rewards from it? What's the feedback thus far?
Yes, some quite prominent ecosystem names have already tried it out, and they are quite impressed by the performance, and they are very happy that they just change the version number and it just works.
Nice. It just works. That's
Yeah.
amazing. All right. We're going to ask those teams to amplify our message. So, is this open source?
Yes, yes, everything is open source. It's Triton, Steve, so everything is going to be open source.
I like to kick in the open doors. I don't know why. Saves
Yes.
in damages.
So yeah,
All
the
right.
users can see the SDK code into our GitHub repo. I believe a link should be available for that as well. It's available in the blog post, so users can see how the magic is being done. If they want to add more features to it or fix some issues that they encounter, then they can do that as well. And yeah.
So, how can they contribute? Just open up make a comment, open up a repo. How can people contribute?
So we have a contributing guide onto the repository as well. So if they see any issue, they can open an issue on the repository itself, and we can have a little discussion there on what the issue they are facing, and we can try to help them. And then if it needs some fixing, then they can do it themselves, or we can do it ourselves. So we can work it out from there, and if they want to fix the issue, then they can just write the code and open up a pull request, and we'll take a look at it.
Awesome. I see someone in the comments saying, I'll let you guess who wrote the comment. We're open source maxis at Triton.
Yeah, I'll put my money on Brian.
Yeah, exactly. Brian, thanks for your comment. Yeah, we love open source. We love people that contribute. So, what is next for Solana? What is next for Triton One? What is next for you? What excites you? Are you looking forward to all the changes coming with Alpenglow? Are you a bit hesitant? Tell me a little bit about what excites you most about your work and the current state of Solana.
Uh, Summarize it in one word, it's all IBRL. Everyone is just gearing up to be able to process everything, process more and process faster. And at Triton, one aspect is that we are improving the SDKs. So on the client side, people are able to consume the data faster. And on the backend side, a lot of changes are coming in as well. The streaming side is becoming even more faster, and we recently released the Yellowstone Jet TPU client crate, which people can use to send their transactions directly to the leader and avoid all of the middlemen. So what that unlocks for the users is that speed. Their transactions are going from them directly to the leader, so it's faster. And then there is also no one in between trying to sabotage their transactions to sandwich or to front run them. So that's also an added security benefit for them. And they also don't need to pay hefty tips for transaction forwarders or pay a lot of priority fees to whoever service that they are using. And the crate is available to be used, and it's on our we have a detailed blog on our blog site, so I would definitely recommend checking that out.
So, is
And
this, if everyone can just send directly to TPU, is this going to be, is there going to be a lot of spam? Is that something we're worried about? What's your take on that?
uh, so the spam issues have been solved over the past year and a half since the chaotic days of congestion, and Anza is always working on improving the throughput to everything, and I believe Alessandro probably has a talk from Breakpoint on all of the improvements that they have done over the year into Agave. So I am pretty confident that the end users should just send their transactions to the leader directly, and if any issues come up, then we'll just fix them like we have done for all of the issues in the past.
All right. Awesome take. I love it. So, since this is live, if you have any questions, if you're watching this, if you post a comment on either YouTube or on X, we will be able to address your question. I see Basha saying hi. So yeah, if you have any questions, we do have time for that. So where do you see Solana in terms of performance in 1 year from now?
I think with Alpenglow coming, it's going to be even more faster. So that's on the chain side, but there are a lot of things like our applications work besides the chain, outside the chain. So we should be able to move the data from the chain into our applications even faster. So a lot of protocol improvements and then SDK improvements and everything is happening. And you can see a lot of open source projects that are being built to simplify all of these things, improve the developer experience on getting started with Solana, and uh, less glass chewing and more IPRL
All
is
right.
to summarize it.
I
Yeah.
think that's pretty cool because building on Solana always had the reputation of chewing glass, it being impossible, having to relearn how to write code, stuff like that. Do you think it has become more? Uh, it has become easier to come for, let's say, Cosmos ecosystem or the EVM ecosystem and start building on Solana?
Yes, yes, definitely. And it's all thanks to the collective effort of everyone in the ecosystem. There are a lot more resources available than when I started 2 years ago. Uh, I started with three blog posts, and that's all I could find for what I was trying to learn. And now, certainly, there are a lot of more resources, there are a lot of more reference projects that are being built, and it's all thanks to everyone in the ecosystem. And special mention to the Solana Foundation Devrel team. They have done a fabulous job, and even they are improving. They are setting the bar even higher for everything. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. They're doing an amazing job. So, what can developers expect from Triton One in the next coming weeks, months? Is there anything we can, lift the tip of the veil a little bit? Or is there something big brewing, or are we just chugging along?
We are brewing big. We are also chugging along. Like the SDK was working, but we improved it. So that those sort of improvements in existing things, they will always keep on happening. So on the read layer side as well as on the write layer side, those will keep on happening. And then we are also working on a lot of projects to decouple the RPC from the validator, and to modularize it all so that people can run independent pieces of software for whatever purpose they are trying to achieve. So we are working on those things as well. And uh, this year is going to be full of new projects and a lot more improvements that are coming. And the it's going to be more decentralized because the end users are going to have more options for achieving what they are trying to do. Like, for example, earlier they could send transactions only via the RPCs. Now they have an open source alternative. They can send their transactions directly. So it's going to be the same thing with the read layer as well. So we have Old Faithful, which is the entire history of Solana that is available. So that is going to go more up to speed so that you again don't need to rely on an RPC provider for your historic data needs. And yeah,
That's amazing. The sending transaction software that's called Yellowstone Jet, right?
yes,
All
and
right.
it's open source
It's
before you
open
ask.
source as well, so we build stuff so they don't need us anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
Please don't build
working
me out
us.
of a job. I love it too much.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I think we're at time, but thank you so much for coming on and telling us about the NAPI as an engine. Is that what you call it?
Yes.
All right. So yeah, it increases the performance of your TypeScript backend by 400%. Go check it out. One line of code, and it just works. We saw it just now. If you have feedback around the SDK, leave it on GitHub. If you have feedback surrounding the quality of the stream, or have suggestions on ways to improve it, send them to me, or join us for a public conversation on Telegram at Triton_One, and you'll end up with us. And yeah, contribute always. Thank you so much, Wilfred. And yeah, let's wrap things up for today. And I'll see you soon, I hope.
Mhm. Yes, thanks a lot, Steve, for having me and hosting the stream.
All right, awesome.